What's your emergency?
At exactly 2:17 a.m., a man calmly called the police and said one sentence: "There's something wrong in my house." He didn't raise his voice. He didn't sound scared. He didn't even sound unsure. After that sentence, he stopped talking. The dispatcher waited, expecting more. Nothing came. Just breathing on the other end of the line. When officers arrived less than 10 minutes later, the house looked normal. Too normal. No lights flashing. No neighbors outside. No movement behind the windows. And yet, before letting them inside, the man gave one instruction: no one goes into the basement. They ignored him. And what they found underneath that house would stay with them for the rest of their lives. Before we go any further, if you're into real stories like this, stories that don't rush, don't exaggerate, and don't let you look away, make sure you're subscribed. New stories come every week. Some of them stay with you longer than you'd like. Now let's go back to the beginning. The man's name was Daniel Kraus. He was 37 years old. Worked as a software engineer. No criminal record. No history of violence. No known mental illness. On paper, Daniel was invisible. Neighbors described him the same way. Quiet. Polite. Forgettable. He waved when he passed you. Held doors open. Never raised his voice. He lived alone. No partner. No children. No close friends that anyone could name. The kind of man you wouldn't remember if police asked you about him later. The house he lived in didn't stand out either. A 2-story suburban home built in the late 1990s. White siding. A narrow driveway. A small porch with a single chair. The lawn was always trimmed. Nothing about the place suggested danger, which is exactly why the call disturbed the dispatcher. People who commit crimes usually try to hide them. They don't invite the police inside. When the dispatcher asked Daniel to explain what was wrong, he paused. Not the kind of pause where someone is confused. The kind where someone is choosing their words carefully. "I think something is happening under my house," he said. The dispatcher asked him what he meant. Daniel took another pause. "I hear things," he said, "and I need someone else to see it." That was it. No screaming. No urgency. Just a quiet request. Officers were dispatched immediately. When police arrived, Daniel was already outside, sitting on the front steps, hands folded neatly in his lap, back straight, eyes open. He didn't flinch when they pulled up. One officer later said it felt like Daniel had been waiting there longer than the call itself, as if this moment had been rehearsed. Inside the house, everything was spotless. Not clean in a lived-in way, clean in an intentional way. No photos on the walls, no clutter, no personal items. The air smelled faintly of cleaning chemicals. As they walked through the house, one officer noticed something unsettling. There were no locks on the bedroom doors. But there was one door that stood out. At the end of a narrow hallway. The basement door. The door was heavier than it should have been. Metal reinforced. Thicker than standard. And attached to it was a keypad lock. That alone changed everything. Basements don't need keypads. The officers asked Daniel for the code. He didn't hesitate. He smiled. "I'd rather you didn't go down there," he said. Not defensively. Politely. That was the moment the officers stopped treating this as a wellness check. They forced the lock. As the door opened, the smell hit them immediately. Not decay. Not mold. Something chemical. Industrial. The kind of smell that doesn't belong in a home. The stairs led down into darkness. Concrete steps. Cold air rising upward. Each step made the officers more aware of how quiet the house was. No hum of appliances, no distant traffic noise, just the sound of their own footsteps. At the bottom of the stairs was a room that didn't belong there. Concrete walls, soundproof panels bolted in place, drainage grooves carved into the floor. It looked less like a basement and more like a facility. In the center of the room stood another door, smaller, heavier, locked from the outside, and behind it, there was movement. Faint scratching. Weak, slow, deliberate. Human. When they opened the door, the light flooded in. 3 people were inside. Alive. Barely. 2 women and 1 man. Thin to the point of fragility. Dehydrated. Eyes struggling to adjust. None of them spoke at first. They just stared. All 3 had been reported missing. Over a span of 4 years. Daniel hadn't chosen randomly. He targeted people with minimal family, little online presence, lives that wouldn't trigger immediate concern. He didn't kill them. That was the most disturbing part. He kept them. Daniel didn't resist arrest. He didn't ask for a lawyer. He spoke calmly during interrogation, as if explaining a project. "I didn't want to hurt anyone," he said. "I wanted to understand them." He explained that he recorded everything. Conversations, arguments, breakdowns, silence. He watched how people changed when hope slowly disappeared. He called it his study. When detectives asked why he finally called the police, Daniel paused. Then he said something that chilled the room. "I started feeling lonely again." All 3 victims survived, but survival came at a cost. One never spoke again. One could never enter a small room. One disappeared from public life entirely. Daniel was sentenced to life without parole. In court, he showed no emotion, no anger, no remorse, just one final sentence. "If you think I'm the only one like this," he said, "you're not paying attention." 6 months later, the house was demolished. During excavation, workers found something no one expected. A second basement. Older. Hidden. Sealed decades earlier. Empty. No records. No explanation. Which leaves one question unanswered. Was Daniel the first? Or just the one who got caught?